Hey, hello guys. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Career Advice. So how are you all doing? नीचे कमेंट सेक्शन में कमेंट करके बताइए whether you guys are learning something new or you guys are having any query as well. Please don't hesitate to drop us an email or comment us on individual episodes. So as usual, back to the class. So today we are going to talk about the practical session of whatever we learned in our previous class, which is uh, chart of account process. So today we will, if you remember the chart of account process, it has certain blocks. So we will learn about each block in relation to it, all the practical sessions. Like the first video, we will be talking about GL account creation and how it is related. And in the second video, we will be talking about maintain of main transaction, sub transaction, how we will create it, how we will interlink it, etc. and etc. So yes, let's go directly join to the class. Start now. Thank you.
Okay. So last time we discussed about the how to set up the company code, how to set up the chart of account. Okay. Then we went to EK01 where it will ask for the chart of account, and we created a chart of account for us, which is OR1 probably. Let me check. Yes, ORT1. Now, in this chart of account, we can see company code, division, account determination ID, main transaction, and GL. So there are 5 parameters we need to create. So the GL is the final output of these 3 inputs. Now, company code we set up, division will go with the default electricity division. Then we create the account determination ID and main transaction. Okay, let's see what we can do. So if we'll see the last time we ended with the opening and closing of the period, then now we are going to create the GL heads. So GL means general ledgers. To create the general ledgers, we have actually 3 major T codes. So FS00. Let's go with FS00 to create on GL. So now you can see edit account centrally. So this, whatever the GL we are creating, it is cross-functional in nature, because as I mentioned previously, FI is supporting to creation of the GL, whereas we are using that into FICL. So now you can create a GL. Okay, like we have options to create the GL. Okay, so let's create one GL account. Okay, let me give some specific name and company code. So I'm giving a specific name of GL of 1000 and company code of ORT1. Okay, now we have other tabs here. So you can see if I'll create this, your TL statement account type is defined in chart of account ORT1. Yes. Okay, so now we have options like here it is only for cash payment. So that 1000 number range is allocated to accept or means to pay or receive the cash amount only. So this one default take as cash payment books. Okay. Control area is we are not defined anything. Okay, it's saying that in chart of account we already created that control. Again, there is another information defined chart of account over T1. Key language is also defined in chart of account, which was we defined as English. Okay. port 1L statement account. Okay, so all is like predefined in chart of account. It is giving the information. Let's see. So now the chart of account ORT1, country code India. Okay, for that we are creating the GL. Okay, so now once it is done, can go back to display to check. Oh, press 01. Now you can see the company or details are coming. Now, in general, there are a lot of chart of account in a single, lot of GLs in a single chart of account. So depending on your list of general ledgers, you have to create one by one. There is like, you can create any other programs which will create you in details, but mostly it will get created one by one. So you create one by one, save them and go to create another one. Like that, you'll continue to create. If I want to create one more, I have to change the GL number. Like you have to use the GL number, which is the allocated to the chart of account number ranges. Based on that, it will allow you to create. So let me create one more. Defined chart of account OR1. It's not allowing you to create. What it's saying, same information is giving everywhere. Okay. No port 1L. No port loss statement is there. It is saying that. So, but you can try your own what I called chart of account to create. Let me go with the company code view, which is FSS0. By that, let me check whether it is allowing to create or not. FSS0. Okay, here again, it's bringing me to this same kind of a tab, but let's try to create it. Again, it's showing the same. No port 1L. That means somewhere we did some mistake to allocating the number regions to the GLs. So that I need to check and probably update. So once the GL is created, let me check the existing GLs, which is for EST1, FS00, ENST. Let me check for ENST1. Okay, and I'll give you 2500 instead of 4, rate 1. Yeah. So now you can see for the existing company code ENST, it is allowing to create a chart of account. Now here we can apply the account group. So whether you want to go with the current asset, current liabilities, or purchase, so you can choose that. It's saying that purchase only defined account. Okay, so there is a number range allocated for the purchase. For this, we can't create. So that means we can change the number ranges. Then we can create a purchase GL. No. No. Okay. So I don't know, means even if I need to go to initialize this, crossing the red cross, still it is not going. So I went back and trying to recreate one purchase, one for 1000 29. Yes, it is allowing. It's allowed to purchase 3 zeros, 4 zeros. Yeah. Good. It's now allowing to create a purchase. Currency is INR. And so now this part, posting without tax or with tax, that you need to allocate. So currently we are not discussing about the tax. So once we discuss about the tax, so the GLs with tax you can allocate here. Okay. Then create bank interest if you are applying some interest on top of the amount, and whether it will be automatically or based on the manual communication, that we need to allocate here. So post automatically only if you allocated any status field. Okay. So like you only apply to the receivable or payable, like that means revenue or receivable payable. So in that you need to allocate the post automatically only. Now one more major stuff is here, account ID. Okay, account ID is generally to search the account, whether that account is used for only cash or that for asset, like that. So now this is a purchase account. In purchase account, you can allocate a account ID like this is purchase for asset only. So that you can allocate here. Okay, and language and all these keywords details, like mostly we are using English. And if you have put to any keywords like ID proof or like account proof, so like that you can apply. But this is not, mostly people don't configure languages and other stuff because it is already linked to the chat of account. Just save this and it will allow you to create, enter description for language. Okay. It is not allowing to keyword translation. Something I need to put on debit. Okay, still it is not allowing to do that. Let me remove this. Okay. This keyword is stopping me to create, to saving this GL. Debit. Otherwise, I can remove this. Save. Okay, it's still not allowing. So I need to put something in English. Let me re-enter again everything and check. No, it's created or what? It's not allowing to do it. It already exists. All right, so let's check 29 is created or not. No, I can't see any purchase or details. So anyway, it's showing that it is getting created for ENST. So we can check in our code. So like in EK01, we can check whether some GLs are allocated or not. So here the GLs are only 52 for, okay. So all these utility links, they allocated one single GL that is 52 to all zeros 52, right? But in our case, we'll create the whole scenario again. After studying everything, we'll create the case study and we'll create our own company code, our own structure. So for the timing, anyway, I faced some problem to create the GL, but for the timing, any questions on the GL creation? So the simple stuff is you need to go to the FS00, allocate the account GL number as allocated in the chart of account, then the company code, and update the values in the tabs. Okay, so the next after GL would be account determination ID, because account determination ID also one of the parameters to define the GL. And for that, we need to go to the SPRO. And it's like contract account receivable, basic functions, contract account, define contract account ID. So let's go to the SPRO. So finance, new, contract account receivable and payable. Basic functions. Account determination ID. They miss any part? Basic function, contract accounts. Okay, contract accounts. Then contract account definition, determine the ID for contract account. So there are two contract account determination ID. One is for contract, other one is for the contract account. So let's start with contract account. It's very simple. You need to just go new entry, pass any contract account determination ID like 05 sample ADID. Save it. It will ask for a TR. Save it. Now this is for the contract account determination ID for contract account. Similarly, we can go back and create a account determination ID for contract. Contract is during the move-in, we need to apply a contract determination ID. Now here you can see we need to apply three other parameters. So first one is company code. I'm applying the ORT1 as example. And division. Our division is electricity division. it's saying ORT is not yet linked to any division right now. So we need to create a division with a company code. Then account determination ID, let it be 05. Okay, so now as division is not there, will it allow to create the account determination ID? No. No. So let me create which is already existing with ENST. And division would be electricity division. Now this company code division we need to allocate again for over E1. Now again it's get created. The role it is very simple. You know how to create the account determination ID for contract and contract account, right? So what the next parameters which we need to create to fill our chart of account? So it's done. Account determination ID, define account determination ID for contract account. Then the next target is main transaction. So the main transaction we need to create with the path, similar path, contract account receivable and payable, basic function, posting and documents. In the document, main document assignment and main transactions. So that we need to create. Again, we need to go to the SPRO. So posting, contract accounts. Provisional posting. I can't see the posting. Oh, sorry. Basic function, posting and documents. Right. Main transaction and some transaction mostly used in our rates. If we go to the rates, rate means that is again part of billing. Let me take you one installation. So in installation, we have a rate category. So rate category links to the schema. Schema links to the rate steps, and rate steps link to the rates. Now these rate steps, when we are creating, we have to allocate the debit and credit. Like these are. This DST means debit sub transaction, CST means credit sub transaction. Now these sub transactions are allocated at the rate level for the posting. For any calculation we do, it will go and hit to the sub transactions. This sub transaction means sub ledgers. Now these sub ledgers link to the main ledger. So that main ledger we are creating, but after that we need to create the sub ledger as well. Now main ledger and sub ledger, why it is linked? So let me explain, then we'll go for that, your next question. So let me go to the EK02 where you can see the sub ledgers or sub transaction. Oh, invalid command. I put 0 maybe. So in EK02, you can see sub transactions are there, right? So you can see there are two sub transactions. a debit sub-transaction and credit sub-transaction. Now these are the sub-transaction. Now these sub-transactions are linked to the main transaction. So this main transaction is allocated in EK01, that is the general ledger, main ledger. So general ledger linked to the sub ledger. So sub transaction linked to the sub ledger. So now we are defining the main transaction. Once we define the main transaction, then in the same process we'll define the sub transaction. So now the sub transaction again is of two types. Credit and debit, and that credit and debit need to go to the main transaction, and main transaction linked to account determination ID, that linked to the division, that linked to the company code, and these 5 parameters defined a GL. Okay, so I'm just trying to create the main transaction and sub transaction for these parameter to allocate. Okay, so let me go again to SPRO. The configuration sessions are boring. So basic function, contract account. So I missed some link probably. So we are up to basic functions. Then posting and documents. Posting and documents. No. Contract account receivable and payable, basic function, posting documents, document maintenance, document assignment, and maintenance. Let me check again. So I can find the posting one. I think it should be under contract account, but that is not there in the setting activation provision. Posting documents. Yeah. So it's the posting document. Under posting documents, we have so now
I'll check.
yeah. So now we go to the posting document, documents. Now maintain document assignment. Okay. Now you can see here, maintain transactions, main transaction and sub transaction, both are here. So if I'll go to execute here, you can see the application area, main transaction and description. Just new entry. You can give the application area here, already pre-configured application areas are there. So these are mostly you will get pre-configured in SAP. R is for utility. Then main transaction, we can put anything like 0001. This is for debit main transaction. This is just for example. Okay, similarly, save it. It will ask to create a TR. And in the same path, you will get the sub transactions. And here you'll find there are multiple details we need to apply because we need to link the sub transaction to the main transaction. So let's create a new entry. Area will be utility. Main transaction we created a 00001 and sub transaction we can create 0101. Description, the sample sub transaction. Okay, then save it. Now, when we're creating the sub transaction, we have some other fields like whether we will allow the reversal or not, whether the main transaction should be holds in negative and positive both the values, whether the sub transaction we need to apply some sign, and the due date. So now the due date is a very crucial stuff for the dunning process, but we can do that manually. Like we can allocate something for the dunning and we can apply that. Otherwise, if we put here some date, it will automatically pick that for the sub transaction for some kind of operation or action. Okay. Now here you can see if you will not apply anything, it will by default take all these default values. Like it will take both positive and negative value. It will both consider the reversal stuff. So those things it will automatically pick. So that is the default stuff. And if there is any GL you need to hold, that sub ledger need to be stopped. Means there should not be any posting happen to the sub ledger. So you can withhold. We can put some blocks there. Okay. So now here the negative posting, once I'll tick mark here, negative clearing. Negative clearing means the same GL will behave a debit GL as well. Like if there is any negative posting, it will give back to the main ledger. Okay. And that can be sent back to the customer. So those stuff we can do, but all these configuration based on the business. Like some business, they don't want to post negative values. Some business, they don't want to return back the negative amount posted into the sub ledger. So that you need to take care during the configuration. Okay. Okay. So even if you have access to your system, there is a concept called help. Okay. So in the help, you can get the description. So probably, I don't know whether you have access or not. Let me show you. I have the help document with me. So like this, you will get a help document. In the help document, you can go to the paths. So here it's industrial path. So in that, you can go to the utilities. In utilities, you will go to the finance. So contract account receivable and payable. There you can go to the definitions, like if you want to check the basic functions or organizational units. So there you will get all details of main sub transactions, posting documents. Now here I can see main and sub transaction, but posting documents, let me check. No, there is nothing like definition for main and sub transaction, but you can, it's only definition, posting dates and posting periods, determination of GL account items. So like this, if you have any supporting document for help, then you can get the description. Okay.